ID. It's me 5 at the door. All right. All right, you're good. You go inside. Morning. Hi, everybody. I have a dear friend, I would say, over the course of many years doing this Nashville thing. I have with me Patsy from the Low Blow. She is. I'm just gonna like roll the red. What does Sean Evans say? I'm gonna roll the red carpet out for you, whatever. Just like, just to make sure everyone understands, and to create the pedestal that I want to put you on.
Oh my God, pedestals.
The things that you do for Nashville, the things that you do for DIY, the things that you do for the things that you talk about like online on TikTok, like the things that like you try and help. Like I think that your whole thing about helping others and lifting people up and like also being a creative genius that you are, just thank you. First things first.
Thank you for saying that. That's insanely kind. I did not know. I did not know that I would be coming on here and getting complimented so much. But thank you
Oh,
so much.
I'm
That's so
gonna
kind.
lift you up, baby. Like that is like I find you endlessly inspiring.
Thank you.
There's something that and we'll actually talk about this. We're gonna start literally with this new single that's gonna come out, "Forest of the Trees."
Yeah.
One thing, if anyone's listened to y'all since the 2019 release of Capsize, it's funny. The guitarist of 95, Mikey. I talk about Mikey a lot. He's like one of my best friends. Mikey has known y'all forever when he used to play in another band called Cabin Color.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, you got to listen to, this is when the second record came out. And I was like, you got to listen to this record. It's like this crazy like story. It's like an underground city. It's like this D&D thing.
Yeah.
And he was like, this is the Low Blow. I thought they were a gospel band. because Capsize like almost like this gospel record.
Yeah. That's true. We as a band started off as a departure from me and Connor's roots, which was in blues and R&B music, where we were in bands together from when we were like 13 years old, playing like Chicago style blues, like the old shit. And we did that for so long that it was kind of like baked into our DNA a little bit. And Capsize, the EP, was a genuine attempt at trying to step away from that. It was like us genuinely being like, we can make alternative rock. And it was we kind of did it like a little bit, but also it was undeniable how like much soul and gospel influence was in it, which is funny because like I'm not Christian. I used to be when I was like a kid, but it was like Catholicism. It wasn't like the good kind of Christian rock you'd be listening to where it's like super like, like Catholics don't have like fun music. We have like funeral dirges, like, so I didn't have that. I grew up like steeped in like Southern gospel, like traditional music because of just playing with my dad, and then like bluegrass and then blues because that's just the community and the people I was raised around. So like Capsize is, I would say, like a gospel. We called it emo soul because it's just kind of
totally
that, but it's so different from what we do like now, which is just kind of this is not we're not trying to get away from that. It's just like where we've ended up.
I think that I talk a lot about the gravity. So like the gravity towards getting toward the soul R&B-ness because of where your roots were. Yeah, 100%. This is what you thought was like exiting the stratosphere. And then like when you worked on City of Glowing Metal, I bet it was like, oh, we're just gonna keep going. And
yeah,
so it's like this new record is like very hard. This is a hard record, and it's still you can kind of tell. I hope that when the new fans listen to this record, this new one that's coming out, I hope they can still tell from your voice that you are like it an incredible vocalist. And like there's like one source from that stuff, and that's usually gospel. I wonder what the people that are going to write about you are going to say about those kind of things. So I'm excited.
It's interesting because like one thing that we've always struggled with as a band is finding our foothold in the world of like the emo scene, just because you know, I don't do the whole Midwest emo style of singing, and it's not because I don't like it, it's just not how I sing.
Yeah.
And I don't do the whole I also I don't have like the West or like the Bay accent. I don't have the, you know, I don't have the I'm a Southern person. I grew up in Tennessee. I grew up in the South around Appalachia and Middle Tennessee, and like because of that, I'm always going to have a little twang, but I don't think that that divorces something from the ability for it to be emo. I think that like this record, if anything, was us trying to embrace our Appalachian roots, because like, you know, most of us except for Taylor who grew up in Colorado, but like we grew up in the South, and we grew up in like, you know, boroughs and you know like the more like suburban / rural areas of Tennessee, where it's like you know, misty cold mornings and beautiful sunrises and you know and the sound of crickets and, you know, cicadas late at night. Like we wanted that to be very present in the record, because we kind of wanted to just say like, no, like you can embrace where you're from and the culture you grew up in a way that's like celebratory of the beautiful parts of it, without it having to be like a different genre. You know what I mean? Like I don't think it makes it a country record or a soul record even. I think that this record undeniably is like the most the low blow has ever been.
It's all of you've done over the course of the 3 records is peel back the onion even further. Like we're just getting closer and closer to the core of whatever it is. And does that mean that you're getting angrier and angrier and like maybe a little bit?
I think I would say sadder probably is it, more definitely like distraught. This record is very like whereas The City was a very hopeful record. 100%. This record is very like it's not dejected. It's more so just like I don't know. This is a more mature record than anything we've ever put out, because I have written like City. I wrote most of those songs like 3 or 4 years before that record came out. This record is like where we are at right in this moment. So it's like a screenshot of where we're at.
Do you feel like that you were always trying to catch up to who you are now?
Just because the gestation period for the Low Blows music always takes forever, just because we are so perfectionist about everything. We don't just, we're not the kind of band that we could feel happy. This is a problem, not a good thing. Or like, I don't know how we would be able to like record a record and put it out in like a month.
Sure.
Or like in like a couple months. Like I'm so impressed with bands that are able to do that, because they are able to find a sound so directly. We're really like, just because there's not many touchstones that we have for our influences that we can like point to, like we want that. We're kind of mulling around on everything and trying to strike a balance. Like half this record, we were like, I don't even know if this is going to work, just because it's pulling from so many influences. It kind of like, if you were to go into this record and just like put them out as we wrote them, it would be like complete nonsense.
Sure.
But we had to find the sound. So yeah, I would say, yeah, for the Low Blow, especially, like we're trying to chase where we are at as a band. This is undeniably where we're at as a band. I would say this record is like, though it's had a gestational period, it's like, I don't think that we haven't strayed too far from where we're at right now. I think the next thing we're creating, I'm worried about it being too similar.
Funny. I love that.
Like,
well, I mean, you have this, you know, from record to record to record, there's like this, not only like a maturity jump from each record, but tonally, and like the songwriting has changed, and it's completely like, this is like it's just so different. So if you make something that is too similar, that might feel strange, because, and like it probably should feel strange just because of the distance of from record to record to record. And like I feel it's what's the a projection. The projection is like you're looking for, you know, the distance between records has to be a very specific up and down of movement. Like you're looking for year over year growth. Like,
Yeah, yeah. I'd say this record is probably the closest in sound to Hurting
Hmm.
Healing, which is like um just like a weird off color side EP that we
Hmm.
did that was just like basically it was us chasing a TikTok moment, and then but there was like very genuine songwriting in that EP of like Sooner and Beautiful and Wear and Tear, which are like some of our most popular songs now. But like those songs I would say are closest, at least in like uh what they're about. Like their onus, I guess, is like very similar to what this record is about, which is just like super confessional, super direct, and like undeniably emo, but in a way that is kind of maybe out of the current wave a little bit, which is fine with me. I love fifth wave, but like I'm fine with us being like kind of unk when it comes to like our influences and stuff like that. I'm cool with being a little different. No one's looking to the low blow for Twinkle. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
we're not that kind of band.
it's the state of emo and DIY-ness, DIY dumb as itself. Like I think it's in good hands and it's in a good place. I feel that emo is no longer like a style really anymore. I think that it's like I feel like that there's if someone says, "Oh, this is fifth wave emo," cool. You've kind of put a little bit closer brackets of like what people are more expecting. But when you go
Yeah,
above, up a level to emo in itself, I feel like that the wide range of what it could be is infinite. I feel like that as long as that's how I see it now. Like as some
yeah,
has been, I've kind of, ever since, you know, uh, jumping into this. I don't like the word scene. I just feel like I'm too old to say it. But
yeah,
this thing, after jumping in for over the last years and doing this podcast for the last, few years, it's just it's an idea. It's this thing that people feel comfortable with. I think that it's like fashion. It'll change. It'll also reflect back on itself. It is a thing that people feel gravity towards, mainly because of a nostalgic belief of that. This is a reflection of youth, or it's a reflection of growing up. And if you're
yeah,
never not growing up, or if you're constantly growing up, then you'll always be emo. Like that's
yeah,
kind of like how I see it. Like when you think about like the term emo, like there's like a business side and there's also like the cultural realness of it all. Where do you put yourself? How do you feel about low blow and emo, and then just emo in itself?
yeah. It's like I talk about this with the blowies several times a day.
Incredible.
Not literally, but no, no, I don't call them that. But
I'm
I talk
now.
about
I am. This is,
yeah,
yeah.
the blowhards is our fan base
Yes.
name. But we I talk with them a lot about like where we fit into all of this because like I think I think that like coming from such a weird background, I think that like there is maybe this inclination that maybe we are not part of it for some people just because of what they're familiar with. And I think that like I don't know if you can consider like some of those Foxing records to be emo, and you can consider like some of the shit that um some like Born Without Bones to me is like undeniably an emo
One
band, but
million
they
percent.
have that same so much soul influence, so much like I think if you can group like a band like Home Is Where with a group like Foxing in the same genre umbrella, I think that like it is safe to say that you could definitely say the Low Blow is an emo band, despite the fact that the singer doesn't sound like she's from, you know,
Yeah,
California. you know,
I like
uh,
that's such a funny two band thing to put together. Not only because they toured together recently, but like
yeah,
to put them like you ever seen like the political up down left right chart where it's like
yeah, the
fascism
Compass.
that compass, but like to think of like you just built a compass where the left side is like Foxy and the right side is Hotelier. It's And
Yeah.
that's
And
the room. That's what we get.
yeah.
I think that
And it's
makes a lot of
like
sense, actually.
for what we're trying to chase when it comes to emo is the thing to what speaks emo to me because I grew up listening to, different kinds of emo, but most of what I listened to growing up was like My Chem and like My Chem and like funnily enough like Boys Like
Yeah,
Girls, like bands where it's like
shit, fucking
it's
good pop punk.
yeah, basically pop punk but with like theatrical
Yeah.
elements and things like
Hmm.
that. And the thing that I grew up into as like I got into college and shit was like the Hotelier and Foxing and there was modern baseball and there was all like the like the Max Seal stuff like that stuff was present, but what really spoke to me was the way that bands like the Hotelier or bands like My Chem can move and arrest a room with just like like a chorus or a bridge section because of how meaningful the words and the reason those songs exist has nothing to do with them as a band. It is literally like pure human emotion being made manifest because they just are writing about something that they feel on a deeply personal level, and that to me is what emo is like the genre. The thing that ties the genre together for me is the pursuit of the reality of human emotion. That's why like I have a hard time sometimes with the irony in
Or
emo, and that's not because I think it's bad. It's just hard for me because to me like sincerity is what brought me to the genre. So sometimes when I'm like hearing songs about like Nintendo Switches, I like have a hard time like it's not that I dislike it, it's that I have a hard time relating to it because to me what excites me is like the shit where it's like you're getting chills on your arms because you're thinking about your friend that died or you're thinking about like the move out that you had to have like out of nowhere because like your family lost a bunch of money. Like that sort of shit to me is like what brings me into the genre. So that's what I chase. That's what I
I think
chase.
that you brought up like a really good point where there was this thing, and the people are trying to like. I think that there's like this. There's always a cyclical nature to the whole thing, but if you talking about like the Switch thing, talking about like. I mean, it's like the Kirby Down B song. Like, there's all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
There's all this stuff where the writing is focused on like literal images of things that you remember, and I feel like that is like
Yeah.
such a it's such a modern baseball thing. Like in the first modern
Yeah.
baseball record, I feel like they're constantly just talking about just like stuff, and it's just like this is a time capsule of like 2010, and like
Yeah. I like that too, to be
yes,
fair. I do like that. It's just, it's not what I'm chasing.
exactly. I think that there's
You
like
know?
two different parts. Like there is either like the hyper real emo versus like the avant-garde
Yeah.
like extrapolation. I want to be fucking dramatic and just like tell
Yeah.
like I like there's like so like there's two types. There's the hyper real and then there's the vague. The vague I feel like is that I know that's where y'all kind of come from because it's you're trying to tell a story but still let people have enough space to like have people fill in whatever they want, which is super
Sure.
required. Where the opposite is like the hyper real, where it's like, oh no, I remember that too. Oh no, yeah, I remember that too, and they get to build their own constellation of like where they were when they're listening to that record, and they get to screenshot themselves at those specific points in time.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's cool to know that like where you land on that, because I think that those are the two schools of thought. 1,000,000%.
Yeah. I think that they're like to claim that I would ever have any issue with any band that does it the other way. I want to be clear that like there are so many bands that I love that it's like you're just writing about like weed
Yeah,
and like as a straight edge person, like I can't relate to it, but I love it because there is so much reality in that. And like the low blow, what we're chasing is like emotional reality where it's like there's lyrics on this album that are like really scathing direct call outs to like specific imagery, but it's not nostalgic, it's like foreboding. I feel
sure, sure.
like like I talk a lot about imagery of burial and like the imagery of like imagining if I found my own dead body
Mhm.
or if like I went if if like if the process of like grieving my family grieving me and things like that, like that's stuff that like I try to be as quote unquote real as possible without being too like I don't care about the poetry of it all. I just like how direct it is in terms of like um I don't know. I like hearkening to like the really upsetting and like uncomfortable stuff. Um I think cuz comfort to me is something that you earn is something like that comfort is something that you earn from the music, whereas like the lyrics are the thing that I think disquiet me a little bit.
I think that's
Maybe
fair.
that's a weird way of
I
putting
think
it.
that's a fair way of putting it because it's like there's first of all, you contain multitudes. There's a lot of parts about you. Maybe we should talk about that. There's a D&D side to you. There's the Magic the Gathering side of you.
Oh
There's the
God. Oh
like
God.
you lean into the fantasy, even if it's about
Yeah.
real stuff. I think that the things that the
Yeah.
world that you try and build. I mean, you wrote a whole record about that, right? Like, so you wrote a book
True.
that's a record, and uh, and you do a
Yeah.
lot of those kinds of things. So like what is the draw to not only those games and playing D&D and you're now the social media manager of like the best DIY spot in Nashville, Arcane Workshop, like that,
Yeah.
which is a Magic the Gathering like fantasy land. Like
Yeah.
is the gravity towards being in the fantastical and then trying taking that laser and hyper focusing on real stuff. Is that just like do you feel like that's all part of that same constellation?
I think absolutely. I grew up in doing theater I started when I was
Mm-hmm.
10, and acting and performance was something that was always interesting to me because like for a while it was very much about like the fun of performing. Like I enjoyed the fun of it. But like growing up in the theater was like kind of a traumatic place for me. Like legitimately a lot of the people that I engaged with, a lot of the adults that I engaged with growing up were deeply manipulative and harmful people and taught me a lot of really bad things about what it means to perform and like what it means to be um it was all steeped in artifice and confusing inner world politics, and something that as an adult that I kind of coalesced was like, to me, I want to be able to control the difference between my reality and my fantasy,
Yeah.
and I don't want the things that I engage with and the world that I participate in to feel artificial. I want the things that I explore in the fantastical world to be reflections of the reality that I have. So like for me, D&D is the best when I can explore things that I legitimately feel in real life, or um the City of Glowing Metal is a story that's about a workers' revolution, and it's specifically about me talking about how impassioned and upset I am by the injustices that people face every day because of where they are in the class ladder or in terms of what race they are or what gender expression they have. It's a record about the working class above and beyond everything else. And that to me is like it's a fantastical reflection of something that is real to
Mm-hmm.
me, because I think for me fantasy, because I have spent so much of my life reflecting fantasy, I'd rather have my fantasy reflect my life as an adult, because to me it feels more important to explore the joy and wonders of this mundane reality, so that people can say, I think it's easier to look at like death when it's behind a screen of this is like a story, but it might actually make you think about something. In the same way that like the Black Parade is like it's about real stuff, but it's about this like fantastical, parade in the afterlife. It's like that's a smoke screen for something that's much realer that you're going to experience and think about when you get the downtime to think about it. You know what I mean? It's not something I want to throw at people and just be like, damn it, these fascists, and damn it, I'm gonna die one day. Like, sure, like that is in the record, but like I think it eases people into it for them to
Yeah.
see you know what I mean? But I've always loved fantasy. I grew up going to Renaissance fairs and watching Lord of the Rings and shit like that. Like, it's just the nerd in me that's like never gonna go away, because I don't know. It's not escapism either. Like in fact I'd say it's kind of the
Yeah.
opposite.
Would you say it's like grounding? Like,
Weirdly enough, yeah, I would say
yeah,
so.
that makes a lot of sense. I feel the same way as someone that like plays. I don't get to play as much as I want as a DM, and I'm a DM that is a forever DM because I don't think that I would have fun playing a character. Maybe I'd rather be everybody else. Like I think I want to do the therapy part of D&D more so than
Yeah.
to be therapized. Not sure if that's a word, but like that's
No, that's
look,
word.
and then that's how it is. I don't want like I would rather like know my players and know what they're going through and be able to provide the mirrors for them in that way.
Yeah.
So we have a lot more in common than I think we had any idea until right now.
No, for sure. Because Christy, I'm the same way. That's why I am a forever DM, is because relinquishing the control of the world to other people is, it's not hard to me. It's just like was talking to this a guy I'm working with on some activism stuff. I won't say his name on here, but like I was like, I am a do everything bitch. Like I am a get everything done. Not because I don't let I love other cooks in the kitchen. It's just a lot of the times I'm the one that I try to make things happen. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna get the edit done, or I'm gonna get the thing done. You know, ready to go. I'm gonna get the show booked because I just have the bandwidth for that sort of thing. And I think DMing is a lot like that, where I'm like, I could let someone else, well, I just don't get invited to do it that much. But like when it comes to DMing, it's like I knew I was going to be the friend to start doing it. I knew whenever all my friends wanted to play D&D, no one else was going to step up and become a DM, so I just did it, and that's how everything in my life is, where I'm like, I'm just going to be the do it bitch,
I think that is I think that the way that you explain it is the thing that I'm like addicted to. Like I think
Yes.
that I am fully addicted to I think ever since starting 95 I was like, oh, I love starting stuff. I love starting and holding stuff. I want to do
Yeah.
everything. I want to. Well, okay. Well,
Yeah.
instead of this, let's do a podcast. I'm gonna start doing. I'm gonna do a. I tried to do one campaign, it completely failed, and I was like, I don't care. We're gonna try it again, and then made a new thing, and then it was really really fun. And I like. I think maybe it's something to do with people are trusting me with something, and I really like appreciate that feeling that it's like, yes, I get to do this, and I'm solving a system, and they get to like relinquish their insecurities about like participating in weird games like this, and I'm like, no, baby, I got you. Like, I'll hold on to this for you.
I really value that comfort that other people can get from it. Like it sounds like am complaining about doing it all.
No, no,
I
it's we want
like
it.
it that way. You know what I mean? Like I get so much out of it. It's the same way that like like there's people that like their whole thing is they love hosting people at their
Sure.
house, and then the whole time you're there you're like, oh fuck, like you're like, no, you don't have to get me a drink. No, you don't have to
No, I
like
want to. That's what I'm here
like,
for. I want to host.
and they're like, this is my lifeblood, and you're like, oh my god, okay. Like that's literally me when it comes to, yeah, like when it comes to, I mean, also entertaining. I love when I had a house where I could entertain. That was what I did that all the
Mhm.
time. Where, but like, like, yeah, doing all that, and that's what, like, to me, that's what making music is. Where I'm like, I actually am like, this is the first record for the Low Blow that I've mixed all alone
Congrats! It sounds
and mastered.
incredible.
Thanks. I was fucking terrified because basically we were like, we had some people in the wings that we were like hoping to work with, and I won't say who they are because like I don't know, that's kind of weird
Totally.
stuff, but we couldn't afford it is what it boiled down to. It's like we simply just did not, as a band, have enough money. We're all, working class people. And so we were just like, fuck it. We're going to put every ounce of money we were going to put into production. We're going to put it into promotion, and we're going to just like do everything in our power to make a good visual companion to this record. You know, our biggest grievance with our last release rollout is that there was no visuals to support the scaffolding that was
Totally.
like the City of Glowing Metal. Like it was like we wanted to have music videos, we wanted to have a comic book, we were going to be working on a radio play to go along with it, and it just, we didn't have the time nor the budget nor the funds nor the energy or the bandwidth to make it all happen. But this record, it's like something different for all of us. Like there's such a like Josh co-wrote most of this record with me, the bass player, and he is like so like I've never he's more sold on some of these songs than in terms of like emotionally staking on it than I am. And that's because like I tell people all the time that I'm so lucky to be in a band with people that care about the music as much as I
Mm-hmm.
do. Like they care about the band The Low Blow as much or if not more than I do, which is like saying something because like I've staked my life on this
Mm-hmm.
thing. And like it's just I don't know, they believe in the message, they believe in all of it, and I'm like that's crazy. I have a little cult of four dudes that I have like or three dudes that I have swindled into believing that anything I say is important or good, and they believe it wholeheartedly. And I don't know, it's just I'm getting off the topic, but
No,
I like
you. This is exactly what it feels like. Talking about the band and talking about this. First things first. Being in a band is fucking weird. It's a really
it is
it's a
weird.
really strange thing. It's a full on relationship between four people that have to do like this really weird thing. I find
Yeah.
uh, especially like when it came to 95, like the situation was, oh, I did this thing, who wants to do this, who and like
Yeah.
I found people who wanted to do it, and then I was like, cool, I'll take care of like everything, I just, you guys want to hang out, and that's just kind of what it ended up happening. Like rehearsal and all that stuff was always like, um I never wanted it to feel like it was like this calendar thing. I always wanted it to feel like that it's just this hangout thing, because I feel like that energy is a little bit different than making people feel like it was a job.
Completely.
Tour ends up making you feel like it's a fucking job. And like I think that like, I mean, you brought up foxing. Like first things first, we'll have to talk about that just because I'm brokenhearted. I'm so fucked
Yeah.
from it. I'm
I found out. I found out through the fucking Bug Heaven post or Bug Moment. I don't remember which band it was.
Those are
Some
two
Bug
bands. Those
band.
are two bands.
Yeah, some band. One of those bands tweeted about it, and I'm like, wait, this is a bit. And then everyone was like, yeah, rest in peace. And I'm like, oh, fuck my life,
Yeah,
dude.
I'm so cooked. I'll never fully recover from this. Like and like
Yeah,
when I
yeah,
think about like them and their relationship to their band, it's the thing that I was too scared of with my band. Like their goodbye post sounded frantic. It sounded like that they almost like killed each other. I think that like there's this moment where they are ending this band almost out of like safety. Like this feels, it's a
yeah.
really crazy thing. This is like my favorite band in the whole world, and they're saying goodbye to it because if they keep this going, something's gonna happen. Like that's like their goodbye post was
Damn.
fucking crazy.
I didn't even read it because it was I was genuinely so upset
Yeah.
that I was like, I don't think I can handle reading this. I didn't know that it was like that. I had to read it
I
after
find
this.
that there is like this is my full like, again, this is my favorite band in the whole world. I've been listening to them since I lived in Chicago, and they used to like play like in Chicago all the time, God, I think I saw them for the first time 11 years ago.
Yeah,
And I've seen them the most out of any other band. I've loved them forever. Everything that I've ever written, there's always a little bit of foxing in it.
yeah,
But when you look at their goodbye, it feels like how the new record feels, where it's
mm,
this um, anxiety ridden, like frantic, like there's this thing that like they have to shake off whatever they've been having to do with, whether it's with each other or the relationship between their old other relationships. Like sometimes bands break up because it's like, fuck dude, I forgot that I'm like married. Like I need to like develop a relationship with my wife rather than with my
yeah,
band. Like there's like this thing where music will take you away from everyone else. And so like
yeah. That's true.
that's like that's what it looked like. It's like they stepped a few steps too far in a direction.
Yeah, they went a bridge too
Yeah,
far.
like that's kind of like what it seemed like in their post. And I get it. I am like, as a person that I don't think I've actually like set it, but like, 95's on a break because I'm going back to
Yeah.
fucking school. Like,
Yeah. Oh,
like I'm going
congrats,
back
by
to
the way.
school.
That's
Like
awesome.
I feel great about that. But like I don't want to, like, for the 10 people that listen to this, that's how you're gonna find out. I'll never tell any
Breaking
breaking news.
news.
Like I'll never post on social that we're doing that just because this isn't that serious. Like this isn't my
Yeah.
livelihood. This is this fun thing. And so like
The low blow is like that. We're like, it's like after each album release, we have like a little break. Anyways.
exactly.
We just don't talk
Like
about it.
there was this tweet that I saw from Madison from Augbert, like about the new record. Shout out Maddie, like you're the homie. The
Maddie is best.
Maddie is bestie, but there was this thing that like homie said online where it's like, I think that if I think I'm saying this right, what you want came out and they didn't talk to each other for 2.5 months. Like that sounds so fucking real. I
Yeah.
think that sometimes things vibrate too hard and then things like get too like you get too close and then when something like fucking blows up like that, like you have to like take a step away. Especially if you're, like, just
Oh, completely.
it's especially when you're making art, especially when you're making all that kind of stuff. Like I think about that post all the time because I'm like, damn, I wonder what it was like in the studio for all of them if they had to like take almost a third of a year off.
Yeah. What I liken it to is like it's like going on an incredible first date that was so good that you don't want to talk to them for like a week.
Yeah.
You're, you're like that was so good that I need to like be away from you for a little bit. Josh is my best friend in the whole wide world, and something I love about him, I promise this is related. Something I love about him is that we we will have these periods of time where we're hanging out like every day for like a lot of time. And then one day we'll piss each other off somehow, and then we won't talk for like a week or two or sometimes longer, but it's no deal. It's like no big deal. Like it's just like it'll like I'll just like annoy him a little bit. Normally that's the situation, is I'll annoy Josh a little bit, and then he's gonna be so mad that I'm saying this. But like 2 weeks, like a week will go by and we have no like emotional degradation whatsoever. But with that we have no like we have no object permanence when it comes to like that sort of thing. So like a week later, we'll just be like, "You want to hang out again for another week?"
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Where it's like, it's just that's just how our friendship has always worked, and that's why he works so well for me because I need space sometimes. And one thing about Josh is if I don't answer his phone call or if like I don't text him for a while, he does not give a singular fuck. It's great. It's a great friendship. It works out very
I
well.
like that. I think that especially when you have people like getting into the boiling pot of like writing and like being in a band and like this pressure cooker thing, that no one, not another thing feels like being in a band. I'm pretty sure that I can.
It's nothing. I could not compare it to literally anything
I
else.
think that it like I'm so lucky that I get to like talk to people that are not only are in this weird thing, but like that I've gotten to like experience and see it from outside looking in and going, oh, this is fucking weird. And
Yeah.
to know that like you have like these relationships that in this pressure cooker. Everyone, you all kind of know your stats of like how things like what my buffs and debuffs are, my time away. They're like these things that like, oh, by the way, when this happens, I do this, and everyone's cool, okay with that. Everyone knows what each like our
Yeah.
pros and cons are for like the things that. By the way, once we're out of the pressure cooker, this is what I need, and everyone's like, cool. Like there's like
Yeah.
there's got to be some kind of like it'd be funny to like everyone write down like, hey, by the way, this is who I am. This is what I'm like during like the studio. This is what I'm like outside the studio. Everyone needs to fucking decompress. Like I think
Yeah.
everyone absolutely does. What would you say is like when you're writing? Do you write a little bit at a time, or do you just suddenly the needle hits the groove and you have to now you're hyper focused and you have to get it done?
That's a awesome question. The answer is that it's manic and inconsistent and wild, and I go months at a time without being able to write anything, just because I don't even feel the urge to try. And then I go like sometimes I will have just like a hot period where it's like I'm not writing all the time, but I'm just like for like a couple of weeks in a row, I'll get like one to two really good things written out. The writing process has been completely different for every single project we've ever had. And it's not by choice, it is just by virtue of like I'm trying new things all the time. Like the first EP was like Capsize was like songs that I had written, and then songs that I wrote specifically for the EP. And then one of the songs was a song. This is probably the first time I've said this on like the internet, but uh, the song "Somewhere Off in the Distance" is a parody song that the then bassist wrote of my songwriting.
Funny.
Like he literally wrote the chord progression and the melody as like a bit to be like, this is what your songwriting sounds like. And then I was like, wait, hang on, that's kind of Pete.
Yeah.
And then we made that a song. That's a little fun tidbit about like a fucking 5-year old song, but um no, it's oh my god, it's like 6 or 7 years old now.
Yeah,
Oh god,
I didn't want to bring up time when I just
I'm
mentioned
gonna throw
yeah,
up.
like I just mentioned the records. I did not want to mention when they came out.
Yeah, no, we're unk now, dude. It's
Yeah,
unfortunate. We're unk.
it's okay.
But but like yeah, so like that record was like very much just like trying shit out, and I kind of just went with whatever the first thing that came to mind was with that record. Got a little more life experience, got a little more like like journalistic when I wrote, and then Hurting Healing was like late at night on my acoustic guitar crying like notes app like bad. Like Hurting Healing was like I was going through some shit and I was like I'm just going to write this like super depressing thing, and it would all happen like as I like those songs came out easily, but they came out about the same. Like I would say each song took about twice as long as the song's length to write because I was just I was locked in. I didn't deliberate over anything with that record. And then City was like a sprawling like odyssey of like the first songs we ever wrote as a band with like songs that were written like months before the record came out. And it was like years of just me coming back to that same like it was like a pegboard where it's like or like a bulletin board where I would just like be like here's another thing for that, here's another thing for that, here's another thing for that. And it worked as like a tapestry of what it's about, but it's also just like it was just chipping away at that. And then this record was like there was a couple songs that were older, like the moments you felt you belonged and White Picket Fence were like super old, like probably older than some of the songs on the City. But the rest of the record,
Hold on.
what
Hold
were you
the
saying?
fuck on. Hold on. So you wrote songs. So there's a couple of songs that were seeds that are finally coming through, like the ground, like for
Yeah,
that you didn't know that were for this record.
yeah,
That's pretty
that
cool.
happens all the time.
That's pretty cool.
That happens semi regularly, just because I go to places in my mind when I write. Like the I have I'm a very visual songwriter because I'm such a movie fan. Like there's a lot of cinema in this record that like I think is kind of undeniable. This record is directly inspired by The Turn of the Screw and some of Mike Flanagan's like more paranormal works, and just paranormal horror from the Victorian era. Like just the way that like ghost stories used to be really somber, not like really fucking creepy. There was no like paranormal activity shit. It was always like, oh, this is about like the fact I can't let go of my dead wife, or like that kind of thing. Like ghosts were like memories, and ghosts were like really painful memories, and we were like super inspired by that. But that was not the goal of the record. The goal of the record was to have it be our like most organic work that we've done, because City was very like presentational, very like, this is a, you know, there's a world that this is all built upon. This record though was like very like, I would write about real shit, and then it happened to be diegetically in the world of Forest for the Trees, the record.
I love that word.
Um,
That is a word that I don't hear enough. Diegetic is like exactly the best way to explain that. 100%.
yeah.
That's
So it just ended up working out. But yeah, this record was me and Josh sitting at a computer late into ridiculously late into the night, just like he would come over every couple weeks, and we would sit at a computer and we would just demo out songs. And that's the first time I've ever done that, where like we sat down at a computer and like we would tap out a shitty fake drum part, and he would track like a clipping bass part, and I would, play a shitty Kemper guitar tone, and we would make the song as close to how we wanted it to sound, and then just send it to the boys, Taylor and Connor, and be like, let's change this a bunch, but like this is like what we are thinking. And it was a lot of like just writing for the sake of filling out sections, but it ended up being like really a great exercise in like full picture songwriting, where it's like I'm not writing to get to the next part, I'm writing to make a full thing. And I cut so much content from this record, and I'm so happy I did, because it is so trim compared to like City, which is like a great record, but like it is so gratuitous in like the fact that it just, every single thing it could explore, it explores. This record is like, it's leaving corners and, kind of obscuring the camera, if you will, like a ghost would.
that's
Which
that's
I
perfect.
I like.
That's perfect. Like LP2, LP3 stuff. Like that is like pretty close to like how it's supposed to be, anyways. Like LP2 is supposed to be maximalist. Like LP2 is supposed to be, oh shit, we get to make a second one. Let's do whatever let's do the biggest thing that we can. And then like,
You know what's Kristy? The funny thing about that is that Capsize we consider to be an EP.
Shut the fuck up.
It's considered an EP because most of the extenuating tracks are like interludes.
Okay, fair.
So it's an EP.
Fair.
So City was our debut, which is batshit cuckoo bananas.
That's okay. So you get to just break everything. You just get to break everything in half. Then
I think that's why it underperformed, is because it was like our debut LP, a very heady examination of working class politics, set across the sprawling fictional city of Agartha, in the underground city of Agartha. Like, it's ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense.
I think that it's something that I love about y'all, is that you had the balls to do that. You like everyone like to well, you have such a team around y'all that like you get to make all this cool stuff. Like, you're so talented. Everyone around, like Nashville in itself, the Nashville DIY scene in itself is very tight knit, and it's very tight knit, but it's also not gatekeepy at all. It's like very like everyone come in, like we're making hot dogs, we're doing Nash Grill. Like there's something about I would say that you're in the direct center of that thing. Like, this is something that you have created, whether it was fully intentional or not, but it is this thing wrapped around your community beliefs and your ideals.
That, Kristy, that's really kind to say that, man. That's made me tear up a little bit. It is intentional. When I came to Nashville's DIY scene, it was one of the most like welcome places I've ever felt, back in like the pre-COVID times. And some of the touchstones of the scene were people that were so like plugged into DIY as like an onus of an ethos, where it was like, this is like inherently collectivist. And I don't even know if that was like what they would have called it, but like Zan Green was like one of those people who ran that 70s house, and like Kevin Rice, who was doing shit for Hollywood back then, and like people were just booking shit for house venues and doing shit like that. And something that I just immediately fell in love with about that world was how it was like, no, like I don't have to profit from this. The profit is that we get to do this. Like the joy is that we get to do it. And like I can't tell you how many times, Kristy, I'm the poorest person in the world. I can't tell you how many times I've paid money out of pocket or done stuff at a loss just because it is good for the health of the scene. And I really try to rally cry around, this is Nashville. It is the most predatory, like, eat your fucking heart out, like, anti human, anti community music like industries in the world out here. If we can be different from that, we should at least try. And like, I want bands to come through Nashville and be like, oh hell yeah, that should be a good show, because I know that people are going to show up. And like, it has been a uphill battle since day one. I'm so glad that you've noticed like positive anything about it, because holy shit, dude, it's like we are trying so hard, but it's difficult because like, you know, that Nashville brain rot's gonna peek through everywhere. But then I'm like, I go to other scenes, and like apart from like Ohio or like Chicago, it's not this tight knit. Many other places.
As someone that's like been in a lot of places, and like, you know, I'm fully obsessed with like exploring this whole thing. I find DIY just so fascinating. So like whenever I am in a different place, I want to like look up where these venues are. I want to look up, you know, these communities, and like they got nothing. They got nothing on what we're like you're trying to do. Like, it's so crazy, and I think it's just reflective of the space as well. Like, Nashville is fucked up. It's the whole like industry thing.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's like antithesis of like whatever this is. So when you have you know, what happens is the opposite happens in the exact same intensity. You find the people that are the complete opposite of that, and it will be as strong on the opposite end. And so like, it's just what happens. I just think that like, yeah, Oklahoma City, great fucking scene.
That's true. That's another one there. I'm like, King Pink, dude. We
the
were
homies.
Like, we went on tour with them, and when we were in Oklahoma City, I've never felt like love in a room more than I felt in that place, and it was just insane. I'd also about Ohio, I'd be remiss not to mention Connor from Summit Shack,
The homie,
as being that man single-handedly alone has inspired so much of what I try to do in Nashville. I've told him this before, but I would say it again for any person who is like listening who might not be from Nashville or might be from another scene. Like, you can be your scene's Connor if you just give up on trying to win all the time and instead focus on what helps. Like, be a helper and like care about how bands feel at the end of the day, and you can be your scene's Connor. Like, I try to be a quarter of what that man does for you know, it used to be Bowling Green. Now he's doing more of the tour management thing, but like that's the Summit Shack onus is what I chase every day.
It's so
like,
cool.
That's
and like, I think that, you know, Connor is, I think inspiring is 100% the word there. I think that everything homie did is should be taken as an inspiring, like, you know, thing, because everything they did for not themselves and for something completely different, and like wanted to build something bigger and better, and kind of looked at, you know, the world. I think that it would be really interesting to look at another universe where Connor was in Nashville instead of Bowling Green before everything started. I wanted to see what he could have created here, because
it would have been 10 times better than what I did.
No. I'm always intrigued of like, what kind of environment would someone do it in a different place? Like,
no, completely. I think that it's interesting because like I look at people in Nashville like Corey from Jukebox
Sure.
or Cody from Jukebox and Jack from Bad World who are doing the hardcore scene. I'm like, those are people that are building. It's not emo, but it is like they are building a scene that is like undeniable. That to me, that is like if I could have a quarter of what they've got, like I'm like I don't know if that's like if that's a thing across America where it's like promoters are doing that sort of shit. But Connor to me is like they to me are like Nashville's Connor in my mind of like they're doing it to bring out as many people as possible. I think that's so
I
sick.
think that something that about Nashville, I think that I think I'm just so happy that it's so bad here in a way because the opposite will happen. And
Yeah.
it's just what happens in these spaces. Uh, Nashville is bright, shiny, glossy, and like the weirdest part. For the middle of this year, after I was laid off of an old job, I worked in 12 South at a coffee shop with Mikey, and
Oh
it's in
yeah.
the LA part of fucking Nashville, and like it is the strangest place. It's so strange, but one of the
Yes.
best parts about these places in why Nashville's so weird is that the walls of culture are small. It's not like in LA. There's a lot of I would say the walls are high and really wide around large parts of LA.
Yeah.
New York maybe a little bit less so. It's very borough based and like that's kind of
Yeah.
what it is. Chicago is. Uh, they don't know how to talk to each other. As someone that lived in Chicago, those scenes don't know how to talk to each other. But Nashville,
I've noticed that too.
yeah,
Is like Chicago, you'll meet people that have been in the scene with the like bands that have been in the same scene for like a decade and they don't know who the other like they've never
it's
met. And I'm like, that's
it
crazy.
doesn't make any sense to me. Like I lived in Nashville I lived in Chicago for 3 years, and there were just I think that it's just I find Chicago really difficult to live in because I feel like Chicago doesn't want you to be there. It's the only way I can explain it. Like it is so what a cruel city. Like 5 months of the year, the water will kill you. Like the air will kill you. Like it's so fucking cold. And like a place that like a place where Malort came from, gotta be a bad place. Like
But they've got Portillo's and that's just like a warm
yeah,
hug.
but like again, it's the opposite things are also created from like whatever
Yeah.
how the yin yang.
Whereas
Yeah,
our food is hot
our
chicken.
food.
You go to
Yeah.
eat hot chicken, and it's like get the fuck out.
Like I think that like like just Nashville is so fascinating, and these spaces are so
Yeah.
fascinating because there is just because there's this bad fake shit that's here. There's still all this room, and I think that it's just a war. There is plenty of room everywhere else. You just need to find it and do it. Where you can create something and you can do this thing. There's so much space for like the hardcore scene in Nashville is so crazy. Like
Undeniable.
undeniable. It is
Undeniable.
like it is. I would say Nashville. I mean, even Knoxville has its own fucking crazy shit. But like Nashville in
Yeah.
itself is like on a completely another level. And I'm
Oh, dude, you go other places, and I'm like, no, y'all get it a little bit, but like, you just gotta be in a pit at Arcane for like a jukebox show or like a Bad World show. Like, it's just
it is.
different, dude. It's just, I don't know. The energy in the room is like primal, and like, God, I love it. Like, I eat it up every time. But it's like, I, uh, I am wanting to find like I want to grab where that grabs like the anger and the high energy. I want to grab the low energy and the sad, and I want to be like,
Yeah.
let's bring that over
Yeah.
here and do that over here. I think there is a chance that I talk about this all the time, Kristy, and you can stop me if this is like too much to talk about. I was talking about how the rise. We're gonna get a little political, but I'm not gonna go too
We can
deep.
go as deep as you want.
I was just going to say that the rise of fascism often precipitates a shift towards two polar opposites where there's a shift culturally towards sincerity for a good portion of people, and then a shift towards complete and total or like not narcissism, apathy and like nonchalance. And that happens in all rises of fascism. It happened in Germany, it happened in Italy, where culture divided into these two incredibly distinct schools of thought, where it was like there was nonchalance and apathy and lack of effort and hostility and all this stuff, and then on the other side it was sincerity and like vitriol, like righteous anger and like vitriol um, and it was also violent in its own way, but like I'm seeing that happen like every single day, where there are people that I think were probably plugged out and a little bit dejected, and kind of like the Brat Summer era where it was like, this is recession pop, baby, we're not going to care about anything. I think that because of the current shift towards fascism in America, we're seeing more and more people defer to sincerity and tenderness and like real human emotion that I think they couldn't feel for a long time. I think we all became very desensitized and very apathetic because of how much everything is. But I think that like right now, it's like you have a choice to make. I think when you're at this crossroads of like where culture is moving in two different directions, where you can either plug out or you can plug the fuck in. And I'm like if I have a message to send to anybody who's like listening to this, or who listens to our album, or who like is in the Nashville scene or any scene that does DIY at all, like choose right now to plug the fuck in, because it is so easy, and it's what they want, for you to be a husk and for you to be emotionless and cold and sad and dejected, and everything's ironic and everything is negative and everything's cynical and postmodern or whatever the fuck. You can just be so upset and really there, and at least then you are in the driver's seat of your own pain, and you can steer that car in any direction you want, rather than having a bunch of fascist assholes at the top doing it for you. So anyways, I didn't mean to get all on a soapbox.
I kind of want to like hold space for the moment. What a monologue. There's that was beautiful. That's exactly like how I feel. Like I think you brought up such great points of like when during a rise of fascism, during the rise of the temperature of everything, during the rise of these things that happen, there's always precipitated by two things. The opposite of what everyone's feeling as a Superman movie. Like the Superman movie was a bright, shiny mess. It was awesome. Yes. It was perfect.
It's exactly what we as a culture
like. When it's. I don't think that the person who created Superman will never understand the thing that they made was going to perfectly reflect what we all want at any given moment. And so it's a really strange thing.
Because that's hope. And hope is not an easy emotion to allow yourself to feel. Mm-hmm. Because with hope you have to accept that it won't work out. Mm-hmm. You have to accept, if you stake anything in faith or hope, it's like, well, I have to be comfortable with the idea that this is going to hurt twice as bad as if I didn't care at all. But here's the thing. If you spend your whole entire life not caring at all, you might as well not be around, man. Because, like, and that's not me trying to be like, yo, if you're, like, not, like, on some KYS type shit. Just, like, you need to live this life in defiance of the things that ask you not to. And, like, that's what this record is actually 100% about, which is like, death is a terrifying and horrifying thing because it is the thing that the reason why death is scary is because it reminds us of how little we get to live and how we didn't give enough weight to those tender, important, and banal and mundane moments. Like, and that's why, like, in this record, I try to talk about the really gentle, beautiful things in some of the more happy songs. But also, like, the painful things, because I was really tired of just all the things I write about being, grand scheme. Sometimes the really small and insignificant things that you don't put a lot of thought into. Like, I was talking to Bryson about this. Bryson from Taupe Creech is somebody who, he writes about, like, minutia mm-hmm. in the most beautiful way. Mm-hmm. Anyone, like, Worms from this last record, is, like, I think one of the most, like, heartbreaking songs, and the lyric that makes me tear up is the thing about canned sardines. Like when he's like, I'm in a bookstore and I gave a guy, like a $20 bill for a can of sardines, only got 3 back or whatever the fuck. I'm like, that is such a beautiful lyric that like I feel like would fly under the radar, but it's so painfully ironic of just like, we're in a world where if you give someone $20, you're only getting $3 back on a can of sardines. And that is enough to make you feel absolutely miserable. But it's such a good lyric because it's just such a little, it's a little mundane thing that like no one would be like, that's art. That's the most beautiful thing. It is so beautiful though. It's like one of my favorite lyrics ever written. And so I've digressed.
No, dude.
To me, that's what this record is about. Is trying to write the small things into big.
I think that it touches on what we talked about earlier about, people talking about moments, screenshotting moments and screenshotting these feelings, screenshotting like the things that we're seeing in those moments, reflecting them back and letting people hear that. I'm so first things first, Topiary Creatures is like those, I strive to, they're like my writing inspiration. Like, yes. They are like, yeah. Bryson, like if speaking to him and like knowing what he does for his job and to know
he's on the record, by the way.
Oh, let's fucking go! Like I see, there's something about Nashville getting together and doing stuff together that something that you created that everyone gets to like be on everybody's record, and it's so cool. Yeah. It's just so cool.
We're not gonna say literally anything else about that. Like he's on one of the songs as like a little thing. And I'm gonna see if anyone can pick it out when they listen to the record.
I'm so excited. Like,
we're not putting him in the feature tags or anything. He's literally, I was like, I'm going to ask you to do this for me, and you're just gonna show up on the record at a random point, and I don't know if anyone's gonna notice that it's you, but it's in there. It's short, but it's in there.
I'm so excited. I think this like
it's my best.
I think I herald all of Nashville music DIY-ness, and to see Bryson and y'all doing such amazing things writing wise and community wise, it's amazing. I'm gonna play a song. I'm gonna play the song that's gonna come out this Friday. It's already out when this episode comes out. This is Forest for the Trees.
Till I scream and only alibi comes out. Love of my life, lost in the light. You paint a face on a taxidermy of one fake and faith that you couldn't build to love. I played it safe, let her garden overgrow. So why to go and miss the forest for the trees? the trees.
That was Forest for the Trees. Patsy, I can't say enough nice things about you. I feel like I could have just done it the whole time because I find...
The feeling is mutual. I admire what you do. I admire how hard you work for this, and I hope that our future as cohorts in this music scene is storied and long.
Thank you. I'm just so excited that I get to like be around cool fucking geniuses all the time. And
Oh, don't.
no, no, dog. It's great. You're too good.
Thank you,
to leave everybody out, I want to talk very briefly about who is your. Are you playing Commander? Or are you playing Standard right now?
Okay, so here's where I'm at right now, Kristy. I love Commander. I love casual Commander with specific people who know that the game should not be 3 hours long.
Sure.
Who run interaction at all in their decks. Any level of interaction. I will play with people like that, so I have like a pod of friends. But here's the thing. Most of them stopped playing casual Commander in favor of 60-card formats. I like Standard. I don't have the money to play Standard right now.
Well, you made a point. You can proxy. Proxy's fine. Proxy's...
But
Praxis.
They don't let you... you are not allowed to play proxies in Standard events.
That's fine.
So, what I have been playing is Modern, because Modern, at Arcane specifically, hey, this is a little ad, Wednesday nights, tonight, when we were recording this, I'm sorry to give, I didn't show how the sausage is made. No, it's Wednesday, they know. Oh my God. But Wednesday night at Arcane, they do Modern Mash, which is proxy friendly because it's run off of a tournament thing called Spice Rack, which is proxy compatible.
Cool.
So I play Eldrazi Ramp in Modern, and I'm really good at it. I lose all the time, but I like Modern, and I've been playing Tiny Leaders a lot, which is like Commander, but if you cut it in half.
Okay.
So it's 50 cards. It's 50 cards. You have 20 life. It's 1v1, and you have a commander, but everything in your deck has to be under 3 mana.
Shut up! Oh my God, that's really fun.
Oh, Tiny Leaders is a blast.
I think it's a lot harder. I think it's a little goofier because you get.
You get some weird stuff. I play Boros or red white hammer. I call it if you gave a kobold a hammer because it's Rograk, son of Rogad, who is a 0-cost creature. You slam him down. He has first strike, trample, and menace. Next turn, you just give him the Colossus hammer, and then he swings in, does 10 damage, and then he does it again the next turn. I win like turn 4 all the time with that deck. It's a bummer.
I'm an Izzet guy. I love Izzet. Like
Okay, you're like a spell slinger.
I like spell slinging. I like combo stuff. I love playing instant sorcery stuff because I feel like I was such a mono blue guy growing up. Like, it was not. I grew up doing mono blue. Like, do you know the card Reality Twist? Okay,
Yes.
so I used to play Reality Twist. Like, I was a piece of shit. I used to be.
You were a control player.
I was a control player, but I was like, okay, cool. Okay, cool. I think when you play control, it's really easy to just like be a prick, and you can just like. And it's also really
especially if you know stack interactions.
Exactly.
If you know stack interactions really well, you can ruin everyone's life.
And it's pretty easy. It's not a mountain of skill to learn how to play control. So
you just have to know how stack stuff
exactly.
works.
So like once you figure that out, you can play control. Anyone can play mono blue and win, but you'll be kind of a piece of shit. So I was like, what's the opposite of that to give like a challenge to the whole thing? I think is the whole thing. I play Izzet with no counters. Yeah. Like I think that it is the only. I'm such a fucking. I love it. There's something about like. Electrostatic warrior where like there's like every time you play stuff, I love when you play instant sorcery cards and they do stuff to your cards. There's something about that synergy that like I'm fully obsessed with.
Have you been following the current standard meta of like what's been going on with Izzet recently?
No, I've been playing a lot of online.
Okay, so there is a problem that was caused by two of the recent sets, which was there was a card that was put out during Tarkir Dragonstorm called Corey Steelcutter, which is a 2 mana artifact, generic in red, that says, I think it's something like you cast your second spell each turn, you create a monk and you attach this equipment to it, and the monk has prowess, and the Corey Steelcutter gives everything trample. So it's basically an artifact that generates bodies
Yeah.
and has bodies with prowess. So in Is It, you know that prowess is like the storm,
thing.
like it's the storm answer to aggro,
Yeah.
where it's like I'm going to be playing a bunch of stuff and then I'm going to swing in with a thing that's like 9/9. So Is It had this thing where people were running burn spells and they were running impulse draws. Then they were running prowess creatures and a bunch of buff spells, and they were absolutely destroying everybody to hell and back. And everyone's like, this couldn't be worse. So they banned Corey Steelcutter. So then Final Fantasy comes
Vivi,
out.
baby.
Vivi is the worst fucking card. He's awesome, but Vivi is so broken, and there was a week in the meta where I think it was something like 55% of the online meta share was just Vivi Cauldron, which is where you take Vivi and you put him in Agatha's Soul Cauldron, so all of your creatures can do Vivi's activation. Which is, imagine putting that on a creature that's like a 5/5.
Yep.
You get 5 free mana every turn for every single. That's insane and ridiculous, and so it's dominating the meta right now. Vivi is about to get banned, I think, in November.
I wouldn't be surprised. I think Vivi came out, and I think they knew what was going to happen because Vivi is like one of the most loved characters of all time. Like
Yes.
Final Fantasy IX, if anyone's ever played it, I actually started playing 9 because of that card because I never played. I was like, I have to, like, I love this guy. Like, why does everyone love him so much? And like within like 2 hours of this game, I'm like, I get it. Like, I thought.
Jody is like, that's my son.
Yeah.
I hate his deck. I hate his deck so much. Jody's like, I love Vivi. I really don't like him in Magic.
No, he is. It is that card. I was already like, I think during Bloom, is it Bloomborough? During Bloomborough, the making like otter decks was like, that was like so much fun, and like,
Is It Otter is like a deck.
yeah,
too.
and like that's what I was making, and I was like, I finally have like, you know, my colors. This is what I want to fucking play with from here on out. And like,
Like Storm Chaser's talent.
yeah, dude.
And like Valley Floodcaller are like insane, or Kitsa, like ridiculous cards that I'm like, they like mice and otters got like insane buffs just from that set alone was like ridiculous.
Blooper was so much fun, and like it was just so cute. Like I think that there is space for a Magic the Gathering podcast here. I think there is. I think that there is something interesting, and I think you should fucking think about it because you would be incredible at this. Because I think that you could talk about it for a full half hour every day. I think you could do that every day.
I won't tell tales out of school or anything like that, but there is some stuff, long form content, potentially in the works for Arcane Workshop. That's all.
I know that you've been doing a lot of cool stuff, so I'm really excited to see what that is.
Yeah, we'll talk. I'll come on a separate time and we'll talk all about Arcane.
Fuck yeah.
I'll get Jody on here. I love Magic the Gathering because it is something that has actually helped me through some of the worst parts of my life when I was going through like a really fucking hard time last year. Magic was my way of just like, I don't have to fucking do feelings, I don't have to do emotions. I can just fucking
Draw cards, baby.
play a big fucking dinosaur and swing in with that shit. Like Magic is one of those things that like I promise you, it is not as nerdy as you would like. To play Magic, you do not have to be as nerdy as you would think you would have to be to enjoy
No, it's
it.
like, dude, do you like
That's what I would say to every person who's listening.
Like, do you
do not have to be that nerdy.
do you want to like swing like a goofy big guy? Like and do you want to give him like a big sword? Do you want to like pretend you're a wizard like for a second? Like it's just so low stakes, and it's kind of, you can be like bonehead about it. You can totally caveman through like learning Magic the Gathering. Like it is not
Yes.
it is not for like some pearl fucking tower of fucking fucking those people. It is for the working class. The Magic the Gathering is a working class sport.
It definitely used to be. I don't know about it anymore, but proxying is for working
It is.
class, I
That's
would
for-
say. I'm a big proxy fan.
Yes.
So
All right. Well, listen. I'm gonna let you go, Patsy. Love you forever.
thank you for having me.
This will be on Friday. Hell yeah.
Fuck yeah. Listen to the single and then listen to the next single that comes out, which is, can I say, it's going to be Dead Nettles. And then in early November, the album is coming out, and it's also called Forest for the Trees.
I'm really, really excited about this. I've listened to it. It's front to back perfect. It's gonna be the fall record. So
Dude, that's so nice. Thank you.
so very, very hyped for it. You fucking be careful. I love you. We'll talk to you later.
Kristy, can I say one last thing before
please.
I go? There is a show happening, Kristy. There's an album release show happening November 15th.
Oh shit!
And I want you and I want every person who listens to this to consider coming, because it's gonna be fucking huge.
Is this have you already got your lineup and everything, or is this like something? Are you guys really excited to announce?
I'll announce it here. It's at the end with Stammer and Sourtooth and shoegaze bands. We're just gonna get shoegaze on this because it'd be funny. It's at the end, November 15th. You should invite every person you've ever met in your entire life.
Done. That's exactly where I'm gonna fucking end the episode. Everyone come to this fucking show. All right, cool. I'll cut it there. You're
Thanks,
the
buddy.
best. I will.
Thank you,
I will talk to
Kristy.
you later. I gotta get back to work. But thank you.
By all means.
Fucking, I love you. I'll talk to you soon.
Good seeing
Bye.
you, buddy. Bye.
If I can close this. Oh no! Oh no! Hold on. Where's? Oh, okay. Cool.